perspective, I like to think that we are still a democracy. We are still governed by the rule of law. But what Donald Trump is trying to do is illegal and it's authoritarian.
State leaders across the West pushing back against the Trump administration, taking legal action on both his tariff policy and his immigration crackdown. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. As President Trump looks to cut funding for sanctuary cities, 2 California counties have now filed suit. And a federal judge in San Francisco is expected to rule soon on their request to block the president's actions here. San Francisco and Santa Clara counties are leading this lawsuit that comes in response to an executive order that seeks to crack down on sanctuary city policies. The order calls for a stop to federal funding for cities or counties that limit cooperation with federal immigration officials. 14 other cities from across the country are listed on the suit, including Oakland, San Jose, and Emeryville, along with Seattle and Santa Fe, New Mexico. Attorneys for San Francisco and Santa Clara counties made their arguments today in court, calling for a preliminary injunction.
This is an effort to weaponize federal funding to try to coerce local governments into cooperating with the federal government's vision of mass deportation. That's unconstitutional.
The Attorney General, President Trump, his administration has made it very clear that they're going to come after all of our federal funding. For San Francisco, that would be potentially $3 billion or more. This is very serious, and we're very pleased at what we heard from the judge.
San Francisco filed a similar lawsuit during the first Trump administration, and a court ruled in its favor, saying the withholding of federal funds was unconstitutional. Also today, Democratic lawmakers across the country, including many here in the West, criticized President Trump's economic policies as part of what organizers are calling a cost of living week of action. In San Francisco, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi brought together small business owners to talk about the impact of recent tariffs on their bottom line.
Here in San Francisco, Trump's economic policies are hurting small business owners and their employees by instilling fear and uncertainty.
What's really affecting us right now is our current weakening dollar, the unstable exchange rate, driving up the cost of imported flowers and supplies, making it hard for our vendors to plan, price, and stay competitive.
The former House Speaker was at a produce warehouse in San Francisco today. She says President Trump's tariffs are raising costs for hardworking families.
The Trump administration's ineptitude is tanking our economy in a self-inflicted disaster that leaves hardworking Americans bearing the brunt of the pain. Make no mistake, President Trump's senseless tariffs are driving prices higher, draining retirement savings, look at 401ks, and pushing us to the brink of recession.
Senate Democrats have introduced legislation to repeal Trump's tariffs. That legislation is set to be voted on next week. In Seattle, Senator Patty Murray met with small business owners today to hear how the trade war is affecting their businesses. Murray said that even with the 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs on most countries, the import taxes are still the highest they've been in decades. Exporters in Washington say they are desperately trying to find new buyers now that Chinese markets are effectively closed to them. Stocks rose on Wall Street today on news that President Trump may ease his hardline position on tariffs against China. The Wall Street Journal reports the administration is considering cutting its tariffs on China substantially, in some cases by more than half. The current tariff rate stands at 145% for China, although some sectors, including smartphones and other electronics, have been spared. The White House has not reported any direct talks with Beijing so far, but today President Trump seemed to strike a softer tone while insisting negotiations are ongoing.
Talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing. They know that they can't get away with it any longer, but they're still going to do fine.
America first does not mean America alone. To the contrary, it is a call for deeper collaboration and mutual respect among trade partners.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has reportedly been pushing President Trump in private to take his foot off the gas when it comes to tariffs, as markets have tumbled and business owners are worried about economic uncertainty and price increases. 4 Western states have joined a multi-state lawsuit against the Trump administration over its tariff policies, claiming they are unlawful. This suit challenges President Trump's claim that he can impose tariffs at will based on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. This lawsuit asks the U.S. Court of International Trade to declare those tariffs illegal and block them from being enforced. The attorneys general of Colorado, Nevada, New Mexico, and Arizona are among a dozen states challenging the orders.
Donald Trump's insane tariff scheme, which his administration has attempted to unilaterally implement, is not just economically reckless. The president has absolutely no legal authority to issue these tariffs. The tariffs are illegal.
I see what's going to happen.
Responding to this lawsuit, Arizona Republican Congressman Andy Biggs said that he expects the U.S. will have great deals with other countries and expects to see a move to reduce tariffs on U.S. goods headed overseas. Today, Oregon's Attorney General said he has a responsibility to push back as his state joined that multi-state lawsuit targeting President Trump's tariffs. Dan Rayfield, citing a study by the Budget Lab, said today the tariffs will raise the cost of living for the average Oregon family by more than $3,800 every year. A mental health and wellness program that helps Colorado farmers and ranchers has lost its funding after the latest round of federal cuts. Fox's Ashley Michaels explains why the program is so important to the state's farming community.
We're told that funding was abruptly frozen on Thursday and that it couldn't come at a worse time. Stepping into Sarah's backyard.
Mamas.
Feels like it's a world away from Denver. Really, how often do you see a 2-week-old sheep?
I started my farm when I was 14 for FFA.
And she says it became her identity.
So people know me as Chicken Sarah.
In 2022, though, she was forced to sell her farm and her 5,000 animals.
When I was ending my farm, I had a few moments of thinking about checking out, going on, being done.
She's far from alone in feeling that way. According to the American Farm Bureau, the suicide rate in the ag industry is 2 to 5 times higher than the national average.
You're basing your whole livelihood on something that could maybe not be there tomorrow.
Between natural disasters, tariffs, inflation, and federal cuts, she says the financial side of farming is stressful. And then there's the loneliness.
Like, I'll share a picture of my cute lamb on social media. I won't share what just happened and oh man, I had to bury, get a couple lambs. And that's super heavy, and most of the time you just hold it to yourself, but when you can go talk with other farmers, it goes a long way.
That's why Rocky Mountain Farmers Union started a mental health program 4 years ago called AgWell to give farmers and ranchers a sense of community and teach them how to cope.
One question we ask people all the time, our farmers and ranchers, is do you take care of yourself like you take care of your animals? And most of the time the answer is no.
Sarah says AgWell saved her life.
I mean, I'm still here, so that's something, yeah.
Now, though, the program's future is in jeopardy after its federal funding was cut.
No matter what, we're going to keep Farmers Union. We'll keep talking about it and keep our programming going. Will we be able to do it to the extent that we want to? No.
She says she's just hoping they can still find some way to reach Colorado farmers who need that help the most.
It's important because it's real. If you have some depression or some other issues going on, it's shameful and it shouldn't be.
Ashley Michaels, Fox 31.
And we have continuing coverage on the latest moves by the Trump administration when it comes to economic policy and tariffs and the impact that they are having across the states here in the West. Just head over to our website. That's westcoastwrap.com. We turn now to a story we've been closely following in Arizona. New reaction coming in tonight to yesterday's guilty verdict for the so-called Doomsday Mom, Lori Vallow Daybell, who was convicted of conspiring to kill her estranged husband. Fox 10's Kenzie Beach talked with jurors today about how they reached their decision in this closely watched case.
I had never heard of Lori Daybell before I got picked for this jury.
Guilty. An Arizona jury finding Lori Vallow Daybell guilty for the conspiracy to murder her husband, Charles Vallow. The jury unaware that Vallow Daybell is already facing multiple life sentences for the murder of her 2 youngest children, JJ and Tylee, and her current husband's first wife.
It just felt like there was a lot of information that didn't make sense and that was missing. Like, I kept wanting to hear from Tylee.
We didn't really have much to say about it, though, because we didn't really know anything, why she didn't, stuff like that.
And do you understand now that every other witness that was there that day is now dead?
Yes.
Jurors almost speechless, just now learning the only witnesses from the day that Charles Vallow was killed are also dead.
It's just, wow. That's all I can say. It's huge.
3 of the 12 jurors telling Fox 10 it was Vallow Daybell's text messages that led to the guilty verdict.
For me, it was the text messages that did it as far as evidence. And I feel like we uncovered some lies.
She said that he was Ned before they got rid of him. That was probably the part where we were like, okay, now it's real.
On top of it, Vallow Daybell's demeanor in both interviews with law enforcement and throughout the trial spoke louder than words, raising red flags for jurors.
He just was like smiling and laughing and didn't seem to take anything very seriously.
She would just kind of look at us and smile and smirk. So it kind of gave it away for a lot of it, just kind of didn't really care.
And that was Fox 10's Kenzie Beach reporting tonight. Some of those jurors also said they did not know Vallow Daybell's Idaho case or what happened there, in which she was convicted of the murders of her children. She's already been sentenced to 3 life sentences in that case. Vallow Daybell is also accused of the attempted murder of her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux, and that trial is expected to get underway in June. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, sports memorabilia worth nearly $500,000 stolen from a storage unit. How authorities were able to track it all down and make arrests here. And we're learning more about recent whale deaths in Southern California, what experts are blaming, and the broader concerns for marine life.
And in weather, here is our live camera looking out towards San Francisco in the Bay Area. Lots of cloud cover to talk about in this part of the West Coast. We'll have more of the forecast coming up.
Police in Southern California have arrested 2 suspects in connection with a sports memorabilia theft worth almost $500,000. Those stolen items belong to Gina Alves and her husband. They were taken from a storage unit back in March, and then earlier this month, police responded to a sports memorabilia store where the owner believed 2 people were trying to sell stolen collectibles. This body camera video shows one suspect running from that store and being tackled by police officers. Alves says some of what was stolen has been recovered, but much of it is still missing.
Missing our Tom Brady's, our Patrick Mahomes, our Lakers, Magic and Kobe. We're missing Tiger Woods. How could I forget? Tiger Woods, his Upper Deck rookie autograph relic card.
Police arrested a man and a woman in this case. The man was found with a stolen gun, and the pair were driving in a stolen car. Public health officials in Washington have confirmed a 5th measles case in the state. Officials say the infant in the Seattle area likely contracted measles while traveling internationally. The child was also not vaccinated. The agency does not believe this case is connected to any of the previous cases. It comes as Washington State Department of Health is reporting a decline in overall vaccinations in school-aged children last year from almost 93% vaccination rate down to 91%. In Southern California, scientists are now confirming domoic acid, a neurotoxin from algae, caused the deaths of a humpback whale and a minke whale earlier this year. The toxin builds up in fish like sardines, which whales eat. Experts say this bloom is one of the largest and deadliest in years, harming sea lions, dolphins, and birds as well. Researchers are warning these events are worsening with climate change and threatening ocean health. All right, let's shift gears and talk about our weather here and bring in KTVU's chief meteorologist, Mark Tamayo, to talk about the pattern we could expect for the rest of the week. Hey, Mark.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, definitely a cooler pattern for parts of the West Coast over the next several days, as you can see the satellite and the radar. In fact, some coverage showing up here on the radar. You can see some storms out towards Salt Lake City and also out toward Colorado. In fact, Denver will have some rain showers in their forecast for tomorrow. As you can see here, the radar is fairly quiet. We just have some low clouds right around the San Francisco Bay Area, and those clouds will eventually be on the increase. Current numbers out there. It's a warm 88 degrees in Phoenix. Las Vegas is 82. Los Angeles in the upper 50s. And then up at the Pacific Northwest, they get the mild weather pattern here. Seattle 61 right now, and Portland in the lower 70s. This was Seattle today, showing you at least a few high clouds out there, but a nice 66 degrees earlier this afternoon. In San Francisco, lots of cloud cover. Definitely a cooler pattern for the Bay Area. San Francisco only in the 50s, and then in Phoenix, lots of sunshine. Temperatures in the lower 90s this afternoon, 91 degrees, and they'll be approaching the 90-degree mark for tomorrow. In fact, here is a timeline in Phoenix. As you can see here, temperatures do trend up at least into the upper 80s, and I think they'll probably briefly top out right around 90 degrees for tomorrow. So here is the plan. Sunshine still for Seattle. This area of low pressure, this trough here, definitely cooling off the Bay Area. The temperatures only in the 50s. Lots of sunshine out toward Phoenix, and of course still talking about some showers and maybe some thunderstorms out toward the Denver area for tomorrow. So here is the forecast models. We do put it in motion here. As you can see here, the possibility of some showers up in Northern California. Here we go with the showers out toward Salt Lake City, out toward Denver. Los Angeles, Southern California, they have the fog in the morning, becoming partly sunny into the afternoon hours. And then on Friday, you can still see some shower coverage. So we talked about that system offshore here. This will boost the shower chances, as you can see, for Southern Oregon and the portions of Northern California. That is for later in the day Friday. That could linger into Saturday as well. So here's the forecast over the next 3 days. A beautiful sunny day in Seattle, maybe a few visiting clouds by Friday. San Francisco, they get the cloud cover for your Thursday and also into Friday. Los Angeles, areas of fog in the morning, clearing out into the afternoon hours and keeping things a bit unsettled out toward Denver. Those showers showing up in their forecast. And as you can see out toward Phoenix, temperatures close to 90 degrees over the next several days. And what's interesting, though, is we have that system offshore. That could actually boost the snowfall potential in the Sierra Nevada as we head toward Friday night and into Saturday. So maybe some snow to track, at least for parts of the West Coast, over the next few days. Alex.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah. Mark, thank you. Southern California Edison began work this week to remove conductors and towers associated with idle transmission lines in the area where the deadly Eaton fire burned back in January. This is all part of the ongoing investigations into what sparked that destructive fire. The utility says this phase of the investigation will take several weeks in the field, followed by lab and engineering analysis. The work will consist of removing 2 spans of conductors as well as 2 towers. Now to Northern California, where a large landslide has shut down a highway in Humboldt County, and this slide was captured on camera.
Oh, up there. It's coming. Watch out. Let's out of there, out of there, out of there.
A Caltrans worker took this video of the moment the earth started moving, taking trees, debris, and rocks along with it. It happened yesterday along Highway 36, just west of Grizzly Creek Redwood State Park. Drone images that were captured earlier today show the entire road swallowed up by that slide. Caltrans says there's no estimated time frame right now for getting that highway back open. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, a Las Vegas man tracks down the strangers credited with saving his life. Up next, the unique way he was able to find them. Also, it's a beloved spot for tourists in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle's Pike Place Market now seeing some temporary traffic changes in the surrounding area. Why some city leaders are hoping these changes will stick around. A Las Vegas man says he feels lucky to be alive after experiencing a heart attack during a run. 2 strangers were there to get him the help that he needed. Fox 5's Molly McBride shows us how he was able to reconnect with the people who saved his life.
Mid-March, Young sets off for a run at Lone Mountain Trail. Only 3/4 of a mile in, he stops to use the restroom when his world changes forever.
I came out of the bathroom and I guess that's when I died.
Young has a heart attack and collapses. His heart stops on the trail. Miraculously, 2 Air Force officers are nearby.
Talk about the right time.
Young's partner, Betsy Vencius, tells me they weren't the only 2 who jumped in to help. And while Young underwent heart surgery and recovered, Vencius made it her mission to find the angels who saved him.
How do we find these people? So my niece said, why don't you put up a sign? I'm like, oh my God, what a great idea.
She posts this sign on the Lone Mountain Trailhead with a message written by Young himself.
If you were the angel who saved my life and allowed me to take one more breath, I so admire your courage and would welcome the chance to meet you when and if you are ready.
And within only 48 hours, those angels responded. One.
We were so excited to see that your sign on the trail today, knowing that you had survived.
After the other.
God bless the second life you have. You are a miracle, Mr. Young.
Proving to both Young and Vencius just how strong Las Vegas is.
There are so many people that are so much better than what we give them credit for.
I'm proud to say I live in Vegas. I really am.
And that was Fox 5's Molly McBride reporting tonight. Starting today, there will be fewer cars driving near Seattle's famous Pike Place Market. A new temporary pilot program was approved with the goal of trying to reduce traffic congestion during a period of upcoming construction. New signs were put up outside the market this morning. The Market Preservation and Development Authority is hoping this testing period can make a difference for not only vendors who need easy street access to stock their shops, but also for confused tourists who accidentally turned down one of the most chaotic streets in Seattle.
There are so many folks who, they look bewildered. Like, how did I find myself here? I would like to find a place to park and then come and actually enjoy the market. And so we're going to learn so much. And the whole idea is, how do we better actually support those who need access to a working market? Think about commercial vehicles, emergency vehicles.
Signs have also gone up letting drivers know which vehicles will be allowed to drive near the market. These changes will be in effect for 17 weeks until utility work can be completed. And after that, city leaders are going to look at the findings and then develop a comprehensive traffic plan for the Pike Place Market area. All right, it's time to cue the nostalgia because today YouTube is officially 20 years old. And in that time, more than 20 billion videos have been uploaded to the video streaming platform.
Charlie bit me. Is this real life?
Yeah, this is real life.
Okay, now I have 2 fingers.
Evolution update. There have been some good ones over the years, from Charlie bit my finger to David after the dentist. What began with a 19-second clip at the zoo has exploded into a cultural powerhouse, shaping how we watch, share, and connect. YouTube trends expert Maddie Buxton says YouTube content is still evolving even after 20 years.
I think that we'll also continue to see the growth of video podcasts, which is something that has really broken through over the past year. Last year, during the election cycle, we saw presidential candidates going straight to creators, going straight to these podcasts to give interviews. And I think we'll continue to see these podcasts evolve.
YouTube, which is owned by Google, is based in San Bruno, California, south of San Francisco. And by the way, the most viewed YouTube video of all time, Baby Shark doo 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 doo. That does it for West Coast Wrap. Have a great night.